Hey everybody, welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. Genshin Impact story has long since been viewed as both one of the best and worst gacha stories of all time. With that being said, Hoyo recently released version Luna 2's main story quest. So the question I'm going to answer today is the Luna 2 story meeting expectations? Let's explore this question together. First and foremost, I want to explain how I've interacted with the Genshin story thus far. I have some pretty strong opinions here. I don't know exactly when it happened, but somewhere along the line I got invested in the lore of the game. I don't go around like an archaeologist reading random papers in some ruins to uncover the secrets of the world. I'm more so engaged with lore outside of the game, whether it be on Twitter or from YouTube videos. That's how I started digesting the lore of the game. The lore of Genshin is so expansive, and there's so many different things to uncover and discussions to be had. Even though the lore has insane depth, there's still criticism to be had involving the way Genshin presents this story, and this is where the strong opinions kick in. Up until Krai, the way Genshin presented the main story they were trying to tell was shallow. Tons of dialogue and useless exposition clouded the themes of the story. In some quests, the pacing was so abysmal that I would get bored or tired and just want to stop playing the game. There were so many epic moments that are uploaded on the YouTube channel but aren't shown in the game. And there's a bunch of other problems too. These are what I can think of off the top of my head. This is what I used to say about Genshin Impact before Krai, but I believe things are changing. Starting in Krai, everyone was starting to agree that the storytelling was improving, and years of waiting are finally being rewarded. The main character had voice lines, Paimon was talking less, and the plot was much more focused. The cutscenes were high quality. The story of Teyvat was moved front and center to the audience. The main lore of the game surrounding the Moon Sisters, Onrya, the Sinners, the Heavenly Principles, and more were starting to be explored, and I was no different. I too began to praise Genshin for the Krai story. In my opinion, it's a big improvement. These were my thoughts at the end of Luna 1, and the Luna 2 update just released with more main story. I've managed to complete all of it, so what are my thoughts on it? To give a 4-word summary of my thoughts, it really surprised me. Luna 2 starts out really strong. We got an action-packed cutscene of Rerir chasing down Columbina. It got me hooked immediately. One of the things Genshin very typically does right is their cutscenes. I also liked periodically when there were moments in the quest that showcased the entire map of Krai, pinpointing the characters, where they are, and what they're doing. I loved this touch personally. It felt really immersive to me. On top of that, one of the most surreal things to me was seeing characters that have been mentioned in the game since the launch finally appearing in the game. Finally seeing Varka's in-game model after all these years was unreal. Witnessing relevant characters return to the main story like Arlecchino was refreshing. She played a huge part in Act 3 of the main quest for Luna 2. Because of her, we get to learn lore about the moons, finding out the Crimson Moon was the shattered, iridescent moon merged with the Abyss. Once again, bringing the game's lore to front and center. These are the events that end Act 3. I thought that this was good, but it was truly just the tip of the iceberg for this quest for me. It just got leagues better in Act 4. Like I was talking about previously, characters who are relevant to the story return, with Albedo, Durin, and Dainsleif making their appearance. If I was told Durin would be playable 5 years ago, I would just laugh right in your face and say no, that would never happen. Dainsleif was also one of the main characters in this quest. More on him later, but man, I did not expect Rerir to have so much complexity. Before diving into everything that made him the absolute undeniable highlight of the quest for me, I want to explain why Rerir, the Rasher of Solnari, really piqued my interest more than any other character in the quest. He really reminds me of Anakin Skywalker, and the more I think about it, it just has to be the main inspiration. Darth Vader is one of my favorite villains of all time, so Rerir just struck a chord with me. They are really similar. It's kind of uncanny. Witnessing firsthand the sinners becoming the sinners. Experiencing the fall of Onrya and Dane at his lowest. Bawling my eyes out watching Thelindis and Rerir's relationship develop into something that can't be repaired easily. This story was a massive tragedy that plucked at my heartstring, and it broke me. The story made me feel for Rerir and his lover Thelindis, but at the same time feel disgusted by him for his violent actions. A self-made villain to the core, chasing blindly and obsessively for love that's likely unattainable. The most paradoxical entity in writing. I don't even know how it's possible to feel both bad for a character and also hate them. Just peak. I believe we are witnessing the peak of the game. The true story of Teyvat is finally unfolding before our eyes. The story ends with Dainsleif betraying Rerir. The true karma of the sinners in Conria was put on full display for the entire audience. I was left stunned by the final cutscene, and I haven't felt this way about Genshin in years. I'm absolutely stunned, and I'm waiting for more. Is it perfect? Not by any means. To give some small but valid criticisms, I definitely think they could have added many more cutscenes. They don't even have to be action-oriented. They can just be characters being introduced or moments where all the characters reconvene. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, so this is the quality we should be expecting. At the points where all the characters are splitting up doing different things, show us some of it. It could either be with a still frame or a full cutscene. It doesn't have to be anything special or over the top. There were also some moments that I felt like kind of slogged, like during the chess game and some of Nefer's backstory, but these moments didn't turn the story into something irredeemable at all. We still got to learn more about all of the characters in the lore and also Nefer. And with all that being said, it's not like Rerir is gone forever. He will most certainly be back to find Thelindis. So where will Genshin's story lead us in the future? What about Dainsleif's betrayal? I desperately want to see Rerir's story resolved. I personally think Genshin is entering its golden age this year with its writing quality, but what do you guys think about this one? Did this quest meet your expectations? Anyways, that's going to do it for this video, and if you all enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, you know all that stuff. It helps me out greatly, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!